Does anyone else have that situation where you're having a great day of practicing, everything feels good, the sound is beautiful, and the piano is amazing, and suddenly you reach a passage like this? It should be easy. Scales are one of the first things we learn as piano students, but for some reason you just can't quite get it. You keep missing notes, you're racking your brain trying to remember the last time you even practiced a scale, and nothing feels right, and everything is going wrong, and everything is terrible, and Well, yeah. This kind of stuff happens to me a lot. We pianists underestimate scales. We always think that there's something more exciting or more interesting or more important to practice. But then, in a moment like this in Bach, or Mozart, or even in contemporary music, that avoidance of scales comes back to haunt us.
Make sure that you practice your scales daily. I do sound like Mrs. Nussbaum down the street on the Grand Concourse in the Bronx, who gives lessons for 25 cents an hour, by the way.
Of course, we don't have to practice scales the way that we did at age 5 with our teacher looking over our shoulder getting ready for exams. There are much more efficient and fun ways to practice them, and scales can be a tool for everything from rotation to phrasing. I'm Robert Fleitz from Tonebase, and today I've brought together the perspectives of several Tonebase artists on how we can practice scales in the most fun and interesting way possible. And I think some of these tricks may surprise you. But before we continue, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more educational and informative piano content. And also be sure to check out Tonebase Premium, where you can watch the full version of all these lessons, and they're the platform that makes videos like this possible. Now let's get into it.
Scales. Why do we practice scales?
They're a great exercise for gaining fluency across the whole keyboard.
They underpin all our harmony, and you find segments of them in almost every melody you'll find on the piano. So we need to be able to play them well and musically.
Scales, I think for me, are very vocal. If you treat them vocally, then you won't find them so treacherous to do.
I have never forgotten my own first piano lesson with the great Czech pianist Rudolf Firkushny, where he said to me, even a scale can be beautiful. Then he played a C major scale from the bottom to the top of the keyboard, which would have made my mother weep. It was so very, very beautiful.
They also create fluidity without space between the fingers, perhaps no spaces between the keys, so that it's like a bow arm. You're playing on the strings, but it's seamless, or the way you would sing.
It's not as complicated as many musicians make it sound.
One of the fingering principles is that long fingers like to go on black keys, and short fingers like to go on white keys. And I'll show you where Chopin would put his student's hand to start. And that's right here, on the upper half of the B major scale. Now you see that my long fingers are placed pretty happily on the black keys. My short fingers are a little farther back from the fallboard on the white keys. And I have this really nice natural hand shape. It's got a nice curve to it. If I just drop my hand, it's roughly the same shape that I would get if my hand were at rest.
Firstly, we want to keep the arm quite light. If you're pressing down into the keys, the fingers don't work so easily. So you want to start with quite a light arm. There's really no point in lifting the fingers unnecessarily. All the fingers need to do is to depress the key. So I'd start with a parachute touch, because that just keeps everything very soft and loose and can make you feel quite light on the keys. So we can just do... and...
One quick way to learn this is by clumping the black keys. So I'll show you quickly what that looks like. White key, clump, white key, clump. I can cap it off and come back down. That's it. Left hand, I'm going to follow exactly the rules I've just laid out. So I have a small clump here, and you'll see something weird happens. The next finger down is a fourth finger. So this is a key where I have to start on a fourth finger. Don't worry about it. That's just how it works out. Follow the clumps. So I'll clump. And if I want, I can separate all the notes out into the scale automatically because I know where my fingers go. I'm watching ahead for the clumps and what fingers I need.
The rotational movements of 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4 are based on the physiological condition of the body, and the body only wants to do this. right, left, left, right, left, left, left. So, and if together it'll look like this. So we immediately make an observation. Every thumb rotates toward your body like this. See? Look, toward my body. Toward my body. Toward my body. Toward my body. Away from my body, toward my body.
One of the things that I say from the very beginning when doing any scales, once you go above one octave, is that the left elbow guides going up and the right elbow guides going down. For instance, a C major scale. To me, it feels like one ride up and one ride down. Now, you could change articulations and you can change dynamics. You could do starting loud and getting softer and getting loud again, or you can do starting soft and getting louder and getting soft again, like this. Or you can do the opposite. Imagine you have a canvas and you have a paintbrush. Dip the paint, just do this. Just get used to doing this, and then back the other way. So I always use the piano like a canvas, and you just paint the keys. So all you want to do is achieve one line up and one line down.
In the section that includes these scales, it's important to practice them with a lot of energy in the fingertip and a lot of motion in the hand, so that the fingers are always sure where they're going next and the hand is always very flexible. You never want light fingers in a passage where on stage you're going to feel a little bit pressure to show this line and make it very clean. If the fingers are too light and you're nervous, the hand will pull out of the piano and you get this. And the sound isn't reliable. So always start this from a very full-toned sound at the beginning. I also really recommend playing not with fast rhythm or slow rhythm, but just the same throughout, so that what is coming next is always predictable. And in this case, there are two groups of 4, and then a group of 6. So I don't really have to play much faster on the end of the bar, and so I can simply practice these two groups. And gradually over time, I can increase the tempo.
Going on, we enter the second thematic area of the sonata, which is in D major. People often refer to the genius of Mozart, the melodist, and if you really start to think like a musicologist, which I encourage you not to do, we look at something like that and say, well, where's the genius? I see a bunch of scales. Fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. It's a simple scale. It is in Mozart's sense of the proportion of his works and how much of scales that he uses, and his sense of how to put it all together in a beautiful mosaic jigsaw puzzle that his genius really lies. So bear in mind that that has to sound not just like a scale, but a very beautiful scale.
Thanks so much for joining us today. What are your favorite scale exercises, and what are your favorite tricky scale moments in piano rep? I would love to hear from you, so be sure to sound off in the comments below. Also, let me know what kinds of technical issues you'd like to hear more about on this channel. If you'd like to scale up your playing, be sure to check out Tonebase Premium. They're the platform that makes videos like this possible, and you can watch the full version of all these lessons, as well as many more lessons on scales, arpeggios, and much, much more by clicking the link in the description below or looking right up here. And again, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for making it this far, and I will see you next time.